A very good evening to you from downtown San Rafael. It's the Petaluma High Varsity Boys Basketball team taking on the San Rafael Bulldogs in what is the final non-conference, non-tourney game for the Trojans as they look for their fourth straight victory. They're on a roll, but they're going to get a good test tonight here in the San Rafael gym. San Rafael comes in 9-2, some very impressive victories they have early in this season. The Trojans beat them last year by 11 points in Petaluma, but this is a different San Rafael team with a lot more experience. However, the Trojans have been really on a roll after a rough Rose tourney where they lost 2 of 3. They've defeated Cost and Nappage, Vintage, all in a row, and they come in very confident to this one. It should be a good one. The Trojans are going to rely on Devin Gottschall and Jack Anderson as they have the last few games to get the record up to 5-3. It will be an important one as the NCS committee looks on in the future to decide where they are seated. And same with San Rafael, a big one for them as they want to get revenge on the game last year. Two very experienced teams. We expect it to be tight. The full game with play-by-play analysis interviews is coming up next, right here on Trojan Live. We welcome you up top. Jack Anderson will be tipping for the Trojans. He now leads them in points, and the Trojans win it to start here from a quiet San Rafael gym. We are just a few days away from Christmas. Thank you, Colton. Colin Ronshausen joining me tonight. Not in Trojan Live, but happened to be supporting his younger brother, and the freshman basketball team got the victory. JV fell. Varsity trying to make it 2 out of 3 in the big one. They try to get into Gottschall, and you quickly see the San Rafael strategy to deny Gottschall, who's Trojans team captain and has had an outstanding start to this year, and he's been such a force, as we mentioned, with Jack Anderson inside. We apologize for any poor camera work tonight. It's another, not the best tripod, but will do with poor camera work. Trey Davis in and out, and he had a great game as Anderson gets to the offensive board and lays it in to make it 2-0. Trey Davis had a fantastic game on Tuesday night against Napa in the Trojans' victory over the Crushers. Almost gets a steal there, and then a dangerous pass. He put up 10 points, got 8 free throws from the line, hit a 3, and last year really was just a 3-point shooter, but he's starting to develop into more of an aggressive player and was hurt early, so he could be a big force for the Trojans. That doesn't go for the Dogs, and they'll pull back out. They have had an outstanding start to the season. As we mentioned, 9-2, it's been busy. They knocked off Novato, Trojans face. We have a foul here on the Trojans. 6:50 to go here in the first. 2-0. San Rafael opened up their year beating Albany in overtime. Solid team out of the East Bay and has some really nice victories. Only lost 2 losses to Alhambra, which is a close one as Anderson rejects that one. And he's so hard to deal with inside. Trojans quickly swing it inside. Anderson has range, but couldn't hit that one. And the Dogs take it the other way. The other Dogs' loss was to Acalanes, one of the top teams in NCS Division II for the Trojans. San Rafael also in Division II, so Trojans could see them in the NCS playoffs. And this time Anderson is called for the foul. That was awfully close there. And that was number 23, Jack Contrell, the starting junior center for the Dogs. And we mentioned that it's like a new team or similar players last year, but they've become a new team because they return almost everybody. They had just 3 seniors on their squad last year, and it was more than half the team last year for San Rafael was only sophomores, which explained their struggles last year. They won just 2 league games in MCAL, and the Trojans beat them by 12, and they were comfortably up in that game throughout. They were up 12 at half last year. That was a earlier December game. But the Trojans are expecting much more of a challenge, and San Rafael showed it as Anderson lays it up and in, and the foul. And they've contained Gottschall, but not Anderson so far. 4-0, 6:08 left to go here in the first. And now those sophomores become juniors for San Rafael. 2 seniors on the squad as well. So they've really improved under head coach Scott Springhorn for that 9-2 record. Won a couple tournaments. As a foul there, ticky-tack. Trojans try to press as Burgess couldn't get it away. Trojans will continue to employ or press here, and the Trojans do come in as a favorite, but this has all the makings of a trap game for them. It's the Friday before Christmas. It's their final. They have a Clovis tournament after Christmas, as Anderson could not get the block there. Good quick ball movement, and the lay-in by Cottrell, who's a fourth so far. It's 4-2 Trojans. But the Trojans have gotten some nice wins, and they're starting to think about league play. That Clovis tournament, which should be exciting, a lot of good teams, as Anderson's pull-up J doesn't go. Good battle by Davis, but he can't get it when Cottrell pulls down another board. Trojans are going to have to contain him. But the Trojans fell asleep when they went last time they came down to Marin County, as the 3-ball is good by Flores. Good ball movement. You've already seen it so far. Starting 5 for the Trojans: Wilbert O'Neill, Anderson, Gottschall, and Trey Davis. And this has started to be the roster that he has found successful head coach Scott Bears, and a lot of changes early in this year. And saw Whitaker Ellis have some strong starts, and we've seen Robert Holmes be big as well, but he's getting some injuries and playing time, and players have developed. He's seen, I think, the starting 5 that he needs. We'll certainly see Robbie Izetta probably first out of the bench. The only junior that really is going to get substantial playing time for this Trojan team, which is hoping to learn from that loss to Novato. They fell by 14 to a team they crushed last year in the Hornets, and after their opening victory, they were as a turnover as the shot clock running down there, and Trojan ball will take over for 32 to go. Trojans were sort of they just totally languished in a game against Novato. They let Carpenter, who's an outstanding underclassman we saw last year only as a freshman. He had a huge game for the Hornets, and they won 48-42 before the Trojans were heading to the Rose City tourney. I think something they were excited about, and they were looking ahead towards that, and they were a little rusty. They hadn't played in a week and a half. Rustiness won't be an issue, and it's certainly not for Jack Anderson, and so far, Cottrell and the Dogs have had no answer for him. Trojans take a 6-5 lead as we approach the halfway mark in this first quarter. 4:10 to go here on it's a pretty quiet gym on this Friday night, just 3 days before Christmas, right in the heart of downtown San Rafael. So beautiful. Dogs are patient now, and they're made a lot of turnovers, mistakes last year. You're not going to see that, and offensive foul. They're going to call the push-off on Quint Fyan, the junior 5'11 forward. And substitution for the Dogs. 6-5, the Trojans lead. They're coming off those 3 straight victories against Casa, Napa, and Vintage. They're also impressive because they'll be in league against all 3 of those teams after the realignment in the Vine Valley League next year. And that bodes well for the Trojans in future, as Anderson is on fire. He hits a 3. He left one short. By that time, it was smooth. He has all 9 points for the Trojans, and they'll miss him next year. But as we have travel, Trojan ball, the Trojans will miss a lot of the seniors, but when you can beat all of those teams that will be in your league, Napa, Vintage, and Cawson, all by double digits, pretty confidently, they have to feel good about it. You can check out the exciting Egg Bowl victory against Casa on our YouTube channel. Full game is up there. It was a thrilling atmosphere, and the Trojans won at Casa, 3rd straight victory over the Gauchos. Davis has got it, and so far they have controlled Devin Gottschall, who came in leading narrowly over Jack Anderson, but they've both been such forces, and can you stop both is a real question, and it looked like the Dogs decided to stop Gottschall, as we have the foul on Gottschall and 2 shots for the Dogs. But Anderson has gone free. He's gone out to the 3-point line. He can hit that. He's gone inside, and he has been an absolute force to start. And Cottrell's a talented center, but has not been able to contain him at all. This is Phil Hauser, the junior small forward. 2 at the line, and 9-6. That will make it 2:52 to go here in the first. San Rafael, according to Max Preps, ranked 208 in the state. Trojans 402, but these rankings aren't always realistic, and I think the Trojans' victory over San Rafael with similar teams brings them in as favorites, certainly, to this game. So far, they've looked energized, which is good, and
when they get sloppy and play ports, they don't score. They always come out with the defense as Anderson's runner doesn't fall. But so far, you're seeing Jack Anderson have an electric start, almost in double digits in this first quarter. He'll average 40 at this rate, but don't see that. If he does that, probably be a school record. Anderson has consistently put up double digits for the Trojans. He had a remarkable 24 against Casa, and they could not stop him. Just put 14 up against Napa. And another offensive foul. They have called a lot of push-offs early here, as just got the elbow in, and a lot of probing moves by San Rafael, but they have not looked too encouraged to drive inside. Davis is going to take a seat. Whitaker Ellis will enter, and Robbie Izetta in street clothes tonight, so he will not be playing. We'll see if that impacts the Trojans, but they're not worried about their guard depth. They have exceptional guard depth. Garrett Gehring and Zach Clark and other juniors there. A hard foul inside, and Wolbert will head to the line there. It was a really nice attempt by Rank to try to take the charge, but he could not. And Justin Wolbert, the senior guard for the Trojans, also the starting quarterback of the varsity football team 2 years in running, one of the great leaders in Petaluma sports, will head to the line, making it 10-7. Under 2 minutes, we have a solid Trojan fans, about good 20 to 30 Trojan fans that have made the 30-minute drive south here from Petaluma. Wolbert hits both, and 11-7. Under 2 to go here. Trojans and Dogs here. This was the final game for San Rafael before they'll enter MCL play against Ross in January. Trojans will get to play in the prestigious Clovis tourney, which will be exciting after a Christmas break. And the way they're playing right now, they hope they can do well. Great defense there by O'Neill. But what will be interesting here is to see if the Trojans can find somewhere else to go besides Jack Anderson. San Rafael is too good. They're going to find ways to stop them. They go right back to him, and there you saw it, the double and the nice steal. San Rafael out on the break. Good defense by Ellis, and that helped that shot. That didn't go down. Now Anderson heading the other way, and he throws it down. Jack Anderson with 11 out of the 13 points for the Trojans, and a ferocious dunk as a smart play there. Is on the break. He was a little bit late getting back, but he realized that either that ball is going to go in and he can get back on offense earlier. If it doesn't, he has the outlet pass. That's what happened. And when he has open floor, he likes to throw it down. We've seen that almost in every single game the last few times he's out there. Gottschall's trying to get active, but it hasn't been his night so far. Not a good-looking shot there. San Rafael will take back over. 7-second differential between shot clock, game clock. A quick moving first quarter, up and down here. Trojans dominant on offense with Jack Anderson so far, 13-7. San Rafael's found a couple buckets, but it's been a strong zone defense, and San Rafael has struggled to get in size as they cannot win at that size battle. In and out three, shot clock turned off, and O'Neill, the team captain last year for the Trojans, will hold it. He's gone a little quiet of late, but had his strong last 2 games against Vintage and Napa. Wolbert tries the three. It's off the mark. 3 seconds left. It's tipped and throwing it up. That wouldn't have counted anyways. That was Hauser, but wouldn't have counted anyways. 13-7. Do you want a quick interview before you go, Colton? You sure? All right. There goes my good friend Colton Ronshausen. He almost tripped on the stairs. One of the stars of our cross-country and track teams, also on the JV soccer team. But the Trojans are in control early here, 13-7. Will they find a way to stop Jack Anderson is the question here. Dogs will inbound it as they trail by 6 here to start the second quarter. Trojans keep that 5 that was in before in, and Coach Bears has shown of late is another offensive foul on San Rafael. I think that's their 4th tonight. Coach Bears has shown that he is not afraid to play his 7 seniors pretty much exclusively on this team. And a correction, Holmes has entered for Gottschall, but otherwise it retains the same. And that's your 7 seniors right there. You've all seen them now. And Against Casa, we saw it. He just only played seniors that entire ball game, along with Teddy Critchett, so 8 seniors on the squad. But Coach Bears, you wonder at some point, will he go to the juniors? They give them more experience for next year, or do you only focus on this year because it's so bright what they can do this year, winning a league title possibly for the first time since 1993? Anderson lost it, and the Dogs trying to get on the break. They haven't had too much success in the half court, but they lost that. The shot clock goes off inadvertently. The Trojans take it the other way. Holmes isn't the best ball handler, and believe they called a travel on Holmes, who's saw actually he had some nice plays in the Rose tourney handling the ball, including a really nice drive to the hoop, but it will remain Trojan ball. The forward senior, who's played a lot better this year, not always the best ball handler, didn't even really play at all last year for the Trojans, was never active, but he has showed a lot of skill and a lot of talent off the bench for the Trojans and has been really helpful when players such as Gottschall and Anderson need to take a seat, especially when they don't have a lot of depth right now at that center and forward position. Good play there to throw it off. Anderson was Retaller for the Dogs as he just threw it off Anderson's body to keep it in. That's how they teach you to do it. Under 7 to go here. Trojans 13, San Rafael 7. Anderson with 11 so far for the Trojans. He's absolutely on fire, but we've seen earlier San Rafael do a better job. Foul was called before the Anderson block. Foul on Whitaker Ellis, who's been an interesting story so far for the Trojans. He burst onto the scene, looked like the big breakout player for the Trojans with 20 points against Terralinda in their dominant opener. They won that by 28 points. But after that, Ellis has been a lot quieter as the first 3 throws off the mark, and Coach Bears has ridden more to reserve role, but we still know he can certainly shoot, and he's shown an ability to finish the basket that we never saw last year. It was truly remarkable, but I think Coach Bears has found what works, and that's clearly with Anderson and Gottschall, and he's not going to mess that up, but I think a big thing will be is we see Davis has improved, and if you can get Ellis to take that outside shot, you've got now players that could shoot it on the outside, be decoys for Anderson and Gottschall, and I just wonder how any team can stop the Trojans. And right now, the league adversaries for the Trojans might be the Pioneer Prospectors. Maybe not the name we expected going into the year, but they have played some fantastic ball. They defeated Drake recently, Hercules last night, and they won a couple tournaments, as that will stay Trojan ball on the tip there. And I believe they're 9-2, same record as San Rafael, but I would say a better record. They have really, and they showed some talent last year, but they have really blossomed this year, and they look like it'd be a challenge. Healdsburg's played well so far. They lose their big man Landon Cortman, but they've got a really talented freshman as Wolbert somehow couldn't finish. There was a beautiful inbounds pass a second time, and he still can't. He was in a forest of Bulldogs there. Decided not to pass it out. San Rafael continues to try to take it on the break as they haven't had much success. And it looked like it clearly went off San Rafael, as Coach Bears was saying, and imploring the refs to, imploring the three-point line ref to help the other guy out, but they'll keep it San Rafael ball. Good inbounds and hit the bottom of the rim, and nothing is falling for San Rafael. They trail 13-8. Trojans have gone cold here, though, to start the second. They have no points, and Anderson has taken a seat with Trey Davis entering, and they've gone smaller with Gottschall now at center. So do they have other options? Davis got sucked, just decided to throw it off San Rafael. Will stay Trojan ball. Anderson played almost the entire Egg Bowl. He was only sitting for about 2 minutes. Same with Gottschall in that one. But I think one of the reasons for that is he was just in such a crazy atmosphere like it was. He wanted to have his seniors in there, the most experience as possible, with 2 players in Anderson and Gottschall that played so much last year for a Trojan team that did well, but this year it seems to reach new heights. Last year, the Trojans throw it around. 5:20, beautiful pass into Wolbert. He can't finish, and the Dogs pull down the rebound. Last year, the Trojans 16-13 overall, 8-4 in SCL, finished 3rd, but defeated Healdsburg in the semifinals of the SCL tournament overtime, and I fell just short to Annalee in the SCL finals. Could not beat the fantastic Annalee Tigers team, but they have lost so many seniors. There's good defense by Davis inside there. They have lost so many seniors as Annalee that they have really struggled to start, and it's a travel on Davis there. And Anderson and O'Neill will enter. Wolbert and Holmes will take a seat. Good play by both of them and giving their 2 stars a break. But the Trojans, it's uncertain about Annalee because to give it to in a football terms, Annalee's football team this year looked like they were just not at the same level. They had tons of seniors, similar to the basketball team last year, and they seemingly really struggled. They were 0-3. They'd only been blown out as San Rafael calls timeout, but then the Trojans played them, and Annalee looked good in that one. They went on to win the SCL tournament, SCL title undefeated, so maybe Annalee will still be a challenge. We'll see. Right now, the Trojans need to find some offense. They lead 13-8, 4:37 left to go here from San Rafael. 13-8 here, 4:37 to go in the second. 11 points from Jack Anderson. Woolred has 2 from the line, but the Trojans have no other production. They've gone ice cold in the second quarter, but their defense has been tenacious, and San Rafael has not been able to get anything going in the half-court set. And they've tried to go inside, but they can't get in there, and they've just been forced to take outside shots mostly, and they haven't fallen. Awkward jumper didn't go, and just continued good 30 seconds of defense by the Trojans. They continue that, it's going to be a long night for the Bulldogs tonight. At 3, 4, now 5 passes there at the top of the arc. They keep it going. That's a headache for the defense. There's no pick, but it's just like a continuous roll. Jumper off the mark from Davis, who's been off so far tonight, hasn't been able to hit, and then a foul there on the Trojans, and 6 fouls on both teams, so both teams are 1 foul away from the 1-1 bonus. O'Neill takes a seat, and Wolbert will re-enter for him. One factor for the Trojans, we mentioned not a lot of depth at that forward and center position. They'll get Kenny Alexander to start league play in January, transfer from the elite Cardinal Newman basketball program, best team in Sonoma County, no doubt, year in, year out. They're both boys and girls teams. And as the drive is well off the mark and a hard-fought battle, as it was Trojans swing it ahead, it was Ritz Haller who couldn't lay it in. Alexander is foul there, and Ellis led to the line for a 1-1. Trojans, again, Alexander comes from Newman. Cardinal Newman was there for 2 years after being a really good force at PHS at the Petaluma Junior High basketball team as a center, and he's a large physical player, so the Trojans hope to get more depth from him as they enter league play. Ellis will have 1-1 here, 3:20 to go, and still no points in this quarter. Davis can't finish either. Ellis does a great job trying to get in the rebound, but he can't. And we have 1 point that has been scored in 5 minutes here between 2 very experienced teams. The defensive lockdown. San Rafael has found some answers to Jack Anderson, and a foul there on Gottschall. They have called it tight tonight, which is almost, I think, gotten both offenses out of their rhythms. It was a little bit more free-flowing in the first quarter, but the second quarter has been very chippy and choppy. The 1-1 for Johnny Rank, the 6'3 junior. See, the Trojans miss a few free throws. That looked like it would be a big strength. Against Redwood, they almost won that ball game. A 49-46 loss against one of the better teams out of Marin County, a team that excelled last year. They fell just short to them, but they did a fabulous job with their free throws, and we've seen that most of the year as Rank hits both for the Dogs. But the Trojans have missed a few free throws so far here tonight. And they're still looking for this 4 points of this quarter. The Dogs have closed the lead to 3. Can the Trojans find some way to throw a ball in the ocean? Anderson's been the answer all night long, but he won't get a roll, and there's a top on the lid, and Holmes is called for the foul. He's not happy about it, but you're going to have to play to the way the refs are reffing, and they've called it tight, and Holmes just has to be smarter than that. A lot of backcourt fouls 90 feet away from the basket, and you just cannot afford to do that. 13-10. And another 1-1, this time for Colin Bursch, one of the 3 seniors on the Dogs, the 6'1" shooting guard. He can't hit. Offensive board, and now the Dogs will get to head right back to the line. Something that the Trojans have worked on so much. Offensive board were such an issue last year, even with the 6'8" star Joey Potts, who graduated now at Oregon Technical. But they give up one there, and turnovers haven't been an issue tonight, but right now they just can't score. This is Quint Fain, the junior forward, who hits the first of his 1-and-1, and now the Dogs will be in the double bonus. 2:36 still left to go here in the half, and it's 13-12. The Trojans have no points in this quarter. After 11 in the first, and Anderson had 9 of them. A small San Rafael student section, and they're on vacation now, has come out to cheer on their Dogs. A foul, and now Anderson will head to the line. That's the last thing you want if you're San Rafael, is to give free points to the Trojans, who can't get anything going. They haven't double-teamed Anderson, but as soon as he gets the ball, they get another guy in there just harassing him, trying to poke the ball away, and trying to keep him as far away from the basket as possible. But we saw that burn them in the first quarter when he had a 3, but so far he missed his first. Anderson is always automatic from the line, and he hits that one. 14-12. Teddy Critchett will make his first entrance for the Trojans, the senior center, also a member of our Trojan Live team. Second one for Anderson is good, and he's going to have some good numbers on the stat sheet, no doubt, tonight, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't come in a victory. And Trojans have their first 2 points. Will that wake them up and get some more production? Brendan O'Neill, I mentioned, has had some strong games of late, but haven't seen much from him. Critchett pulls down a rebound, and he is a force in there. He's such a big guy. He's really hard to contain. Trojans quickly swing it. Davis is continuing to shoot, but he's continuing to miss. Under 2 to go. Head coach for San Rafael, Scott Springhorn, down on one knee, orchestrating the commands. Head coach John Bears has seen improvement really every year under the Trojans. 3rd straight year in coaching, and probably 3 straight NCS appearances. Is a great lay-in by Colin Bursch. Probably the nicest shot we've seen all night from San Rafael, who has not shown a propensity to drive to the hoop one bit, as the Trojans' trees in the middle with Anderson and Gottschall have been much too much. Great play into O'Neill, and a really smart play there to realize not to take that first shot, but the up and under, and he gets the foul, and he gets 2 at the line, and the Trojans now will be in the double bonus on the next foul, 15-14. So their lead was cut to 1. They led by 7 early here. O'Neill near automatic at the line. Only a junior last year. He's team captain leader. Gottschall got those responsibilities this year, but Brendan O'Neill's been through a lot in the course of his life and always does a good job. 12 points against Napa in their last one. Scored 8, which was an achievement against Cardinal Newman, and the Trojans lost in the Rose Tourney semifinals to them. That was great transition ball movement. San Rafael really struggled in the first quarter with that, but the lay-in by Johnny Rank, and that cuts the lead back down to 1, 17-16. Critchett remains in there, some extended playing time for the big man. Anderson is double-teamed as soon as he gets the ball, and they're just having that harasser come in, and so far that is working, and the Trojans are going to have to find someone else, whether that's Gottschall stepping up. He doesn't have any points tonight. We'll see. They ruled a jump. Arrow points towards the Trojans, and 56.3 seconds left to go here in the first. Ellis looking to get it in. Took a while. He finds O'Neill. And back into Anderson. They tried to throw it in quick to him, and they got the foul, and I didn't see it myself there. But Anderson will get 2 at the line now in the double bonus. The ticky-tack fouls have been huge all night. We're going to time out by head coach Scott Bears. He definitely wants a run here by the Trojans. They haven't gotten anything going really at all in the second quarter scoring-wise, but they still lead at 17-16. Seniors return, as we mentioned, for the Trojans. They beat San Rafael 62-51 last year, but they also blew out Novato, and this year they lost 48-42. about 10 minutes up north from here against the Hornets. Our most disappointing loss of the year. Anderson automatic from the line. They'll make it 18-16 with under a minute to go here. Trojans looking for their third straight NCS appearance, and it was the 80s, and I've heard me make a few 80s references if you've listened to some of the past basketball broadcasts, and what was happening in the world when the Trojans last made 3 straight NCS appearances. I wasn't alive for one. Ronald Reagan was president. And a foul called there. It was good defense by Anderson, but that's what they've called. And 2 at the line for Jack Cottrell. Trojans haven't won SCL since '92, haven't hosted an NCS game, which could be a possibility since 1992. And they didn't even make NCS from 2009 to 2015, but in the first 2 years of the Coach Bears regime, taking over for his father, John, the Trojans have made NCS both years, and they certainly will this year, and maybe a home game. Anderson looks like he'll take a rest the rest of this half. Gottschall will re-enter, and he's sort of interchanged them. He's given them more of a rest, and they played a lot of late, especially with playing time, and had a game last Friday, Tuesday, and the Tuesday before, so 4 games in 2 weeks. This can be busy if it's not a normal tournament, and then you're just ready for it. Shot clock has actually a half a second differential, but Trojans can pretty much hold it for the final shot, leading 19-17 after the split 3 throws. O'Neal to the rack, and a great move by Brendan O'Neal. He was not able to score so far, but that is exactly what you're looking for. O'Neal so comfortable at the rack. Shot clock off, aggressive move, great defense by Justin Wolbert, who will give that to you. Gottschall watching the clock run down, good if it goes. It's wide left. But we head to the half, and the Trojans have to be satisfied of where they are, considering they went absolutely silent, 21-17, absolutely silent in that second quarter, but they still lead 21-17. It's a low-scoring affair from the San Rafael gym here as we have reached the half.
Halftime here at San Rafael. Trojans lead by 4 here with Michael Barabalt, who I think your official assistant, assistant operations basketball manager, said something like that on Max Preps. Yeah. But what's your analysis here? Jack Anderson had a fabulous first quarter, but San Rafael slowed him down. It slowed the Trojans down. How did San Rafael make those adjustments?
Well, we were able to get inside in the first half. Jack, I think, had 9 points in the first quarter, but then they really tried to shut him down, made us shoot from the outside. They made Trey Davis take a couple tough shots, and they slowed down the tempo of the game, and they got to the line and they converted. I don't think they even had a field goal that entire second quarter. So
Troy, as you mentioned, Trojans went ice cold. How do they make some adjustments in the locker room and start shooting better?
Well, I think you got to see if you can get inside to Jack and Devin Gottschall. Those are your 2 key guys, and then maybe if they get going, that kind of opens it up in the outside. Maybe get Whitaker Ellis a couple of 3-pointers, Brendan O'Neal. The Trojans are running. They're short-handed tonight. Don't have Robbie Izetta, so it's going to be a challenge. Plus the foul trouble, it's going to be a key factor. A lot of those guys have 2 fouls, so it'll be tough. But I think we'll be able to pull it out.
So Whitaker have a really big game against Terrell in the season opener. Felt like he's lost a little confidence since then. As you're almost every game, how do you think he can get that back and be a big guard play, especially tonight when they're down Robbie?
I think it's just the opportunities. I mean, he's not the go-to guy, but he can be a guy that they go to if they can kind of open things up. So if the shots are there, he'll keep taking those shots, but the shots are there and they'll eventually fall.
Trojan's zone defense, effective again tonight. It's been really good all season long. What's been the key to that?
Well, we're quick. Brendan O'Neal's really athletic. Trey Davis is really athletic. So at our guard positions, we're really quick and we're fast. And once they get inside, they got to deal with the Twin Towers with Devin and Jack. So it's tough to go against, and I think we're working it really well.
Finally, looking forward, we've been talking a little bit about league play, and the Trojans are going to go for their first SCL title since 1992. What do you think are going to be the keys to them taking home the banner?
Well, we're going to have to take care of the basketball. We had a couple of costly turnovers there that eventually got them to the line. So taking care of the ball and making sure we're running the offense properly, and I think we should be very tough to beat.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Michael Barabalt, also a member of our Trojan Live sports department and the Trojan Live team, along with his work with the varsity basketball team, also a player on the football team. We're just moments away from the start of the second half. It's coming up next.
Time for the second half. Start of the second half. Trojans lead the Dogs 21-17. Also a very happy birthday shout out to Kenny Alexander, whose birthday is in the coming days, along with the father of Whitaker Ellis and the whole Ellis family, who's so influential at Petaluma High. Along with myself, I guess. That's a little weird to say. Foul and one in this festive season. And the Dogs trying to make it a festive time into Christmas. And they come out strong with Colin Bursch, who had a good first half, laying it in and the foul. 21-19. And interesting, Michael talked about the foul trouble, and we saw those fouls rack up late there, and believe both Jack Anderson, Devin Gottschall have 2 fouls, and that's been a factor in some games before, and that could be a concern. If you don't have them, where does the offense go? Could Whitaker Ellis, Wolbert, who's not a huge scorer, but he's done it before. He had a good game actually against Cardinal Newman, put up 6, and maybe Trey Davis get going, but they've all been cold to start. Brendan O'Neill had a nice drive to finish the half, as the Trojans found a solution to an offense that went dormant when Jack Anderson. Gottschall trying to get it going. He has no points tonight, which is a rarity. He is pretty much Mr. Reliable for the Trojans and almost seemingly unstoppable, but so far, he's been ice cold from the field. We mentioned there's a lot of distractions going on with the holidays. Finals ended last week, school's out. You got the Clovis tourney and then league play. You have the capability to overlook this, a sleepy night here in San Rafael. Trojans looked energized as that's a travel there. That was easy for the refs. Trojans didn't look like they were overlooking anything the first quarter, the way they were playing defense, the way Jack Anderson was just dominant, but that second quarter, they looked like they were sleepwalking. See if I can get it going. They lead 21-20 here. 6:44 left to go in the third quarter. 8-minute quarters. Ellis with a nice move. He'll get to the line. Aggressive, and you got to use the way the refs are calling it tight tonight and take some of that contact and get to the line. And Trojans have been most of the year so far very reliable free-throw shooters. Whitaker, though, 0 for 2 so far from the line tonight. Mentioned at 20 against Terralinda, but just seems to have the loss of confidence. Michael Barabalt saying just gotta keep on getting more shots, more plays for him, and he thinks he'll get it back, but he splits the pair there. He's gone a little bit quiet of late. 22-20. The Trojans lead. A long pass, and he was open, but great defense by Gottschall and Ellis to save that one. That was impressive. That was Rank, who was all alone there, but the pass was a little high, and San Rafael unable to convert on that chance, and every possession's big the way this has turned into a low-scoring, slug-it-out affair. Anderson is fouled there, and he looked more confident there. Lost some of his confidence in the second quarter, gone to foul trouble, double-teamed him, stole it away, but that's how you rack up fouls on the Dogs. And most of their players do return from last year, but it's not as much experience. So you can get some of those players out there that might not be used to a tight, big affair. And with 2 quality teams, especially in the same division, NCS committee will really be looking at this game, and the Trojans need to make up for that loss to Novato. If they want a home game, this game could certainly decide it. Gottschall continues to be aggressive, and he heads to the line. Devin Gottschall, you could just tell he wants to get going so badly. He has not gotten it going. He was averaging over double digits coming into today, pretty much consistently putting up 10 and 5. And as he hits the first free throw, against Novato when nothing went right, he had half of the Trojans' points, put up 17 along with 11 rebounds, a double-double, but otherwise there was nothing going that night for the Trojans. And this way it's been the other way around. It's been Jack Anderson the savior. He splits the pair from the line, and Trojans' free-throw shooting's been a little iffy tonight. Lead is 3. Trojans have led this entire game. They led by as much as 7 at the end of the first quarter. Zone defense has been effective. Threes have not been hit at all by the Dogs. That one was right on line, but just unable to hit was Flores. And that three is good. Brendan O'Neill hoping he can get going. He's got 5, and the pick and roll 3, it was deep, but he can hit that, and that's certainly a difference. The Dogs have not shown any capability to hit threes. Now O'Neill the steal, and he's got all the room in the world. He lays it in, the smart play there, and just like that, the Trojans lead 28-20. The bench is fired up. It's the biggest lead of the game, and an outburst by Brendan O'Neill. About the wake-up from Brendan O'Neill. He went doormat, but he stepped up with a 3 there, and then the great steal in the lay-in. And we mentioned how big every possession is. That's 5 points he rattles off, and suddenly it's a comfortable lead for the Trojans. Foul called there. Coach Bears is about as, and he sort of missed it, but about as furious as I'll ever see him. He threw his hands in the air. He was bending down. He was not happy at that at all, but it's 2 at the line for Burschk, senior shooting guard, 6'1". Anderson, that's his 3rd, so that, I mean, that's the big reason that he has to come out, and Coach Bears was saying, hey, there's nothing you can do about that one. His hands were straight up. At least in the purple and black size. Dogs will make a substitution as well, as it will be Thane re-entering. 28-22, lead back down to Swix. 5:03 left to go here on this Friday holiday night from downtown San Rafael. Trojans have looked like they found something through the hands of Brendan O'Neill, but there's that confidence from Whitaker Ellis, but good job by the Dogs. They swarmed him. They saw him going to his right. Oh, he's feeling it now, folks. Watch out. Brendan O'Neill from downtown again, and he just stepped up and had it like it was nothing. He is absolutely in the zone, and he might just put the Dogs to bed tonight. 31-22, the biggest lead. He has burst out of a cannon for 8 in this 3rd. That is on the floor. It will not count. They'll take it out of bounds. Hosser drew the foul. 4:26 to go, and Brendan O'Neill 2 threes. He just stepped right up, hand in his face, and drilled it after another pick and roll. All he needs is a millimeter of space right now. That was a great inbounds play by San Rafael. Flores with the lay-in. That was well drawn up from the coach on the sideline to get that play in. 31-24. And right now it's get the hands of Brendan O'Neill and get him in rhythm. O'Neill driving. He kicks it out to Ellis. This is Holmes, who's provided some good plays. Might show up in the stat sheet, but he's really worked hard this year to improve. Holmes aggressive, and it is no foul called, which is why Holmes is upset there, as we've seen that called a lot tonight with the hands straight up and a little bit of body contact, but it will remain Trojan ball. Under 4 to go here for 31-24. Trojans came into today averaging 54 points a game and didn't look like they were going to get there after that second quarter drought, but if you can find it to O'Neill, they might be able to. Wolbert with an athletic move to the rack, but unable to finish. The one thing that's been consistent, and it's been again tonight, the Trojan defense, only allowing 46 points coming into the game, and that number is really increased by the Cardinal-Newman game where they gave up 52. Otherwise, they have not given up 50 the entire year, including at some really good teams like Redwood, only gave up 49. So in their losses, it's a lack of scoring. It's never a lack of this zone defense that has just been so fantastic and caused all sorts of troubles, especially for offenses that don't have too many options like the Dogs, and a travel there. It's been a lot of long 30-second possessions for San Rafael, but in the end, they have found little. 31-24, 3 minutes left to go here. It was Anderson in the first. It was O'Neill here in the third. Gottschall wants to join the party. Can't hit. Offensive board by Robert Holmes. Trojan bench feeling more energy, and you can feel that energy reverberating Might have been woken up in the locker room a little bit by head coach Scott Bears. He knows how to make the adjustments, knows how to make the improvements. Gottschall keeps on shooting, keeps on trying, but similar to Trey Davis, keeps on missing. But Justin Wolbert says, I'll pick my friend up. Gets the offensive board, and he will head to the line. Jack Anderson up clapping on the bench. He's in foul trouble, and this Trojan team finding a way to pick up their teammates that are struggling right now, and this is very impressive, really, against a really good San Rafael team. And this is what you're going to need, and might be decided game against Pioneer, game against Healdsburg for the SCL title. And if you want to revert history, as Wolbert can't hit the first, you want to revert history and put the Trojan basketball back on the map with an SCL title. It'll be their last year at SCL. You're going to have some players pick up others that are down tonight, and Devin Gottschall has had a struggle. Wolbert splits the pair and extends the lead back out to 8, tied for the biggest lead of the game for the Trojans. They have led, been in front at all, but the Trojans did not get a field goal in that second quarter. It was a struggle. Good transition by the Dogs, and we saw that in the second quarter. We see it again there. Really fantastic ball movement. O'Neal, he is a man on a mission right now, and you could see that on that drive, but he's smart too. He didn't just ruthlessly take out that shot. Somehow Gottschall got that away. Did they call it? Coach Bears calls a timeout, thinking that Gottschall was going to have trouble. So the Trojans lead 32-26, 2:22 remaining here in the third quarter. Ellis gets it to O'Neal. We'll see if the Dogs make some adjustments on them. They did a good job on Anderson, starting to double him and harass him whenever he got in the paint. But O'Neal's more versatile. He can hit outside. He can drive to the hoop, the small forward. Little LeBron James-esque, but maybe not at that level. Gottschall continues to try. His favorite shot is that corner three, but I think he's 0 for 5 from there tonight. Still no points for the captain. What an aggressive move to the rack, and the lay it out, pacing the camera there, was Phil Hosser. And that cuts the lead right back down to 4, and I think the Bulldogs are not going anywhere tonight. This is going to be a battle to the finish for the Trojans against a vastly improved San Rafael squad from last year, and they've showed it 9-2 record. Gottschall gets it back. He finally has points, and a relieved look on his face. Finally able to lay one in, and he's going to have a chance at the old-fashioned three-point play as well. And another offensive board here in this third quarter by the Trojans. That is huge help to get your offense back going, and that has certainly helped after no field goals in that second quarter. 1:28 to go here in the third, and Gottschall can't convert, but it just bounced right back to him. He was unexpecting it. He thought he was going to make it. O'Neal is feeling good, but that one a little too strong on the tough step back. And then the Trojans a little bit aggressive, and in the end, Coach Bears thought it was a jump, but again, the refs have called it tight. You cannot go in there and try to reach in like that, because they've called that, and you're going to get more people in foul trouble. And Anderson with 3 has been sitting on this bench almost this entire quarter, but the big thing is the Trojans have found a way to do it without him. Trojans with more aggressive defense, double team by Wolbert and Gottschall. Beautiful spin move in the lay-in. Oh my. Encouraging press from Scott Springhorn after the beautiful lay-in by Colin Birch. Ellis outpacing everyone. Wolbert aggressive. The Trojans have really shown an aggressive nature in this third quarter. That has seemingly been the big adjustment. They have really taken it to the rack within a true authority, and that has been big. It's helped get some open threes as well for O'Neal. O'Neal with the beautiful pump fake, and he somehow couldn't get the bounce. That was halfway in, out, back in, and then out again. And there is a 7-second differential between shot clock and game clock. Trojans lead 34-30 here. A 4-point lead here. It's been a low-scoring affair in the San Rafael Gym between two quality North Bay teams. And some nice drives as well by San Rafael. They really struggled, but with Anderson out, the The Trojans playing a lot smaller. The height differential is pretty similar, and not able to finish that time. That was good defense. Holmes helping in, and a really man's board pulled down by Walbert as he takes the foul on that after crashing to the floor. It will be 34-30. 10.3 to go. Shot clock turned off. The Trojans should have the final possession. Little press here by San Rafael has not been too effective. Gottschall driving in. A three ball at the buzzer wouldn't fall. That would have been huge for momentum. But instead, it is a 4-point lead for the Trojans. This is going to be a tight one throughout. Don't go anywhere. The exciting fourth quarter conclusion is next. Fourth here, 34-30. Trojans will inbound. It's O'Neal, Ellis, Gottschall, Holmes, and Wolbert. Anderson remains on the bench with 3, and Coach Bears have decided to go with the smaller lineup, but San Rafael's got, I think, a little bit more offensive opportunities with some good drives to the basket with less size in there, and an offensive foul is called on Holmes, who shocked again, but they call that a lot on San Rafael early. We stopped seeing that, but that is staying consistent. Trojans will get a little press here going, and inbounds play called up for the Dogs. Be interesting to see how long Coach Bears stays with Anderson on the bench. Anderson got into foul trouble against Casa, and he came in with 4 at the start of the fourth, and he was just smart. Or I'm sorry, he came in with 3. He had 3 early in the third, and they kept him in. And he just played smart. He never got another foul in that one, but this time he's decided to seat him even though they're short with Robbie Izetta unable to go for tonight's game. After that bucket, it's cut the lead to 34-32, tight as it's been since the second quarter, and now O'Neal, after so hotter in the early in the third, has had a couple go in and out, and the jump ball with the possession points towards San Rafael, and it feels like a little bit of shifting of momentum towards the Dogs right now. Trojans coming up, we mentioned they have the Clovis tourney. It's almost a week away, so they'll have a decent break. They'll open against Sanger and then Carothers. It will be a 4-game tourney. They're D1 teams. Clovis out near Fresno, so most of the teams are 4, but it should be a really good experience. A lot of really great teams. These are D1 teams, much bigger, and they should provide really good tests for the Trojans going into SCL play, and they should be ready when they start SCL on the 4th at LC and then on January 6th against El Bolito. We will be live as they face the Lions in their home SCL opener, so don't miss that. 7:30, a travel as the shot clock was waiting down. That's great defense by Ellis. There was nowhere to go that time, and most of the guards for the Dogs have been nice quiet. That was Barack, who we haven't not mentioned pretty much all night long. 6:30 to go here. Trojans still leading by 2. Gottschall did finally hit a shot at that third, so we'll see if that gets him going at all. O'Neal had 8 in that third. Anderson has just re-entered, so Coach Bears finally just starting to get him back in, and Davis is out this entire second half as he was ice cold in that first. And after really a good play against Napa, has not been able to get it to go. O'Neal has regressed to more of his earlier first half where he's struggling to get it. Anderson wanted to read that shot, but the up and under was so smart by Cottrell, who's gone quiet. O'Neal seeing an opportunity and laid in by Devin Gottschall. Oh, that was so smart by Brendan O'Neal. The Dogs were so excited after tying this ball game at 34-all. O'Neal saw a little opening. He raced down the court. The Trojans got numbers. O'Neal, another shot. He waits, and then he can't finish. And he thought he had laid it in. He turned around. Oh, my goodness. O'Neal was so confident he had certainly laid it in that he turned around, and he's still looking at the basket, wondering what in the world happened on the other end. It was such a smart play, knowing that he had Fain behind him to wait. And the and one. This gym is really waking up as the lay-in by Jack Cottrell and the foul, who suddenly got some points. O'Neal's going to talk to Coach Bears, who's got to recover after that bizarre play. And Whitaker Ellis is going to have to come out because he has 4 fouls. So Trey Davis is going to have to re-enter. Coach Bears is going to have to hope his Fane also exits, that there is some offense. There is some offense maybe from Trey Davis, who's ice cold. They have not had the lead, and that will remain for the Dogs. Tied at 36 all. 5 minutes to go here in the fourth. From the San Rafael High School Gym, it's the Petaluma High Varsity Boys Basketball team taking on the San Rafael Dogs. O'Neal staying confident. That's exactly what you need. A great pick and roll. And he sweeps to the basket and calling it tight. They've called that all night. And O'Neal almost automatic from the line. And a player like him, you know he's going to have a short memory, and he's going to quickly forget that bizarre play as he misses the free throw. Hope to not jinx him. That bizarre play that happened on the other end where he turned around believing that he had made the shot, seemingly the easiest, and had fallen out. And it's so hard to turn around mentally, especially for a high school player, and maybe it still is affecting him. He missed both free throws there, and that is rare from O'Neal. We stay tied at 36 here in a game that it felt like the Trojans had 2 different points, had control of it. An 8-point lead in the third when O'Neal caught fire. Had a 7-point lead in the first when Anderson caught fire. Offensive foul there on the Dogs. But San Rafael just hung around, and they have finally tied this game up as they've really gotten a rhythm going on their offense finally. And 36-36 with 4:38 to go here in the fourth quarter from San Rafael. This gym has really gotten going, and it's gotten tight. Both the San Rafael fans and the Trojan fans that have made the trip, including a couple students that made it. Henry Ellis, Luca DeBono, Danny Marzo, Richie Norman, Samantha Andrews, Maddie Weber, students that made the trip down to cheer on the Trojans, and both sides making some noise here as we approach the halfway mark of the fourth quarter, all tied up. Anderson trying to get back in that rhythm. That got him 11 in the first, and he lays that one in with a beautiful spin move. And he was just, once he got going with the pirouette, there was no stopping him, and it was too late for the double team for the Dogs. That started working really well in the second and got him frustrated, and he got cold. Sort of been a streaky day for so many of these Trojan players, but hasn't really been the best. Is a great lay-in. We'll see if it's enough, but Flores doing his part for the Dogs, who've really gotten on a great offensive rhythm, finding ways to get to the bucket, and some fantastic athletic finishes. Davis trying to swing it. Good hands to poke it out and avoid the open three by Keaton Flores, one of the 3 seniors on San Rafael. 3:37 to go. Remains tied at 38, and don't think either team's going to get to 50 tonight. It's been that kind of game. A lot of fouls, but in the end, it's been mostly well played. Just both teams gotten cold at inopportune times. The defense has been fabulous. It's been very turnover-free for both teams. The fouls are probably what both teams are going to look at as they regret. Davis trying to get going, and that just was not a confident-looking shot. It just trickled to Anderson. Wolbert has really looked good in the second half, and he's not going to always contribute on the score sheet, but he's got an aggressive nature and great leadership qualities. Why he was quarterback and excelled at points this year for the Trojans, especially second half of the year really improved for the Trojan football team. They get it into Davis. He's not a post player, but really some nice post moves there from the guard, and he's going to get to the line for 2. Against a smaller, it was 21 on 21, but the smaller Davis against the 6'1" Colin Bursch. Davis only 5'11", 165 senior. And he got to the line against Napa. He was 8-9 there, and that was almost all his points. And he was good from the free-throw line, but that's been an issue. O'Neal got a very quick rest. He will re-enter. Whitaker Ellis will take a seat. Davis a second. Also doesn't go. And Trojans are going to look back. The line has been a little bit of a struggle tonight, and something that they've been so good all year long at. Tonight it hasn't been. Good news in Trojan sports earlier today is the Trojan varsity girls basketball team cruised past Los Lomas, a 14-point victory, and similar to the boys, they've gone into a rhythm. Another travel on San Rafael, who has not done a good job with that. That has to be 5 or 6 travels, I believe, tonight by them. And yet, nonetheless, they remain tied girls team really excelling. Got some nice victories over Carrillo of late. A lot of victories on the road, but their next home game, their final non-regular season, non-FCL game, will be a good one against Rancho Catania, and will be live December 29th from the Petaluma High Gym. Tip is at 6:30, a special time 6:30 that night, as it should be a good one between Rancho and the Trojans. Two teams expected to make NCS this year, and a good test for the Trojans before they end at SCL. And offensive, no, yes, offensive foul. I believe I saw the ref point the other way. Indeed. And it looked like the right call. What a play by Devin Gottschall to stand in there and take it. The refs are going to have a further discussion there as Gottschall stepped up, split into his spot, and amongst all the chaos, did everything right. Davis going to take a seat. Ellis has 4, remember. He will re-enter. And the Trojans with some really strong defensive plays your last couple possessions, forcing a couple travels. The press has not worked all night for San Rafael, but they almost get a steal there. And Coach Bears is heated now, issuing commands, his face turning bright red, along with Trojans assistant coaches Steve Merritt, Nick Iacopi, and his father, head coach Scott, former head coach John Bears. Under 2 to go here, tied at 38. O'Neal driving. Trojans offense has gone cold again at the wrong time here. Can they get Anderson? He had a nice bucket. That was the last bucket. Field goal for the Trojans. Foul called, and the fouls have really racked up for San Rafael suddenly, and they are now in the double bonus for the Trojans, that is. So O'Neal gets 2. The Dogs will be in the bonus on the next one. Currently 16 fouls on the Trojans. 1:37 to go, and Trojans need some shots from the line. O'Neal missed his last 2. It wasn't the most confident-looking shot, but he got the roll there, and this is where the nerves kick in with only 90 seconds to go in this one. Apologize for the rucking camera. Small student section for the Dogs, making some noise. O'Neal hits both. And those were clutch 3 throws by the former team captain. And we have a timeout by head coach Scott Bears. It's the Petaluma Trojans 40, the San Rafael Dogs 38. 1:37 to go here in the 4th. Mentioned JV fell earlier. They fall to 6-3, 3 straight losses. They started hot 6-0, but it's been a good job by the freshman team who've got a couple of victories of late, including today. And in other Trojan news, the wrestling team will be starting there, trying to defend their SCL championship soon, as they will face Sonoma in the rematch of last year's thrilling victory for the Trojans that won them the SCL title, 1-point victory. And we'll be live from the Petaluma, multi-purpose room for wrestling on, I believe that's the 2nd Wednesday in January. 3-ball is good. First 3 of the night from Caton Flores, and the first lead of the night for the Dogs. 40-38, student section standing and clapping for San Rafael. Can the Trojans stay calm here in what has suddenly turned into a madhouse? Where do they look? Anderson so good in that first half, just 2 in the second. Gottschall has been unable to get going. He decides to take the J. It's not good. Great battle by Anderson, but it's Dogs ball. 51.9 to go here. Trojans certainly don't need a foul. They need more good defense here. But a shocking comeback, really, here by the Bulldogs. Trojans had control, but as soon as it got down to 4 suddenly at the 4th quarter, it felt like San Rafael was going nowhere, and another layup by Keaton Flores, who has suddenly woken up. O'Neal knows he has to go quickly, trailing by 4. A blocking foul is called. San Rafael is furious, including Phil Hauser, who has to be grabbed because he could barely contain himself. And in the double bonus, they're going to give him a technical. Oh my goodness here. Well, might have got out of your camera screen, but Hauser was stomping the other way. He was absolutely furious. He might have said something. The San Rafael coaches are not happy about it. The gym gets very quiet as the ref discusses it, but once you call the T, you can't reverse the T. That's how it works. though I've seen NFL refs do otherwise in that famous Cowboys-Lions game recently. O'Neal's going to have at least 2 at the line no matter what in the double bonus. The question is here, does he get 2 and then do the Trojans get the possession? He will. So he'll get 2 with the Trojans trailing by 3. And my apology, I said 4 earlier, but San Rafael was up 1 after the 3 by Flores, and then the lay-in by Flores made it 3. So now O'Neal made his last 2 up, 2 at the line all alone, which can be debatably more nervous, but suddenly I think he's woken up from the line, maybe a little bit. He missed 4 in a row earlier. And the second one does rattle out. So 28.8. The shot clock is turned off. And now, I believe the Trojans should get the ball out of bounds due to the technical. O'Neal's saying I should get 2 more 3 throws, but I believe those free throws are the technical and the foul, and then you get the possession because of the technical. Trojans will call a timeout. It will be their ball when we get back. 43 to 41, San Rafael leading. They just took the lead on Keaton Flores' three-pointer. It was the first three-pointer all night by San Rafael. They had finally gotten the drive going, had the Dogs, and that had been the change as Jack Anderson's really, I think, absence as he got in foul trouble was huge, and it allowed San Rafael back into this one. And now the Trojans trail by 2, and they just got so cold. Once again, they got ice cold in the second quarter. They didn't get a field goal. Let San Rafael right back in this game. O'Neal got going, but the Trojans got cold late in the third, and they've remained cold here in the fourth, and it's just been shooting slump after shooting slump, and they haven't found anywhere to turn. And now they trail by 2 with the shot clock turned off. Who do you look for here? And do you wind all the clock down here? I would say no. You want to probably get a shot with about 10 seconds left and get a chance at an offensive board if you don't hit, but you don't want to get most of that clock down, so if you do hit it. So I am wrong here. O'Neal's going to get 2 more 3 throws, and then I think it will be Bulldog ball. So the technical gave him those first 2. Now he gets them from the foul, still alone at the line, and he misses another one. I mean, so much pressure alone, the game at the line, and even for O'Neal, probably thinking of some of those last ones he missed. Last one was smooth, 43-42, and it will remain Trojan ball. So they get the 3 throws, the ball, and then the possession again. So that's the ruling with the tech after the foul. Well, that could be a game changer. Trojan ball, shot clock turned off. They trail by 1 here. Where do they go? O'Neal with the ball in his hands. He had 8 in that third. He was absolutely spectacular. Shot clock down to 12 now. Down to 10. Gottschall waiting into Anderson. The spin move. It doesn't fall. It's loose. Down to 4. Foul on the Trojans with only 2.9 left to go. And Anderson's shot just did not fall on the back rim and decided not to go, and that has been the second half tonight for Jack Anderson, who just cannot finish. It was a great move. It was the look he wanted. He could not hit. Wow. Trojans still have a timeout left, so potentially they can miss. This, however, is a 1-and-1. Do you intentionally miss this one? Trojans, though, can still call timeout, and they can advance the ball, but they're going to call 1 timeout now because they have 2 of them. So Coach Bears will discuss the game plan of the 3 throw and an attempt to try to ice the shooter. 2.9 seconds to go here, and really a crazy end to this one with the technical foul. Anderson struggles, but the key here tonight, and win or lose in these final 2.9, is the Trojans' almost sleepiness and doldrums shooting, and that when you play defense and you're going to allow probably under 45 points in a game, you should win that. And it was a good San Rafael team, and I think the Trojans went to sleep a little bit, and when they went cold, they just didn't have anywhere to turn. Devin Gottschall had a rough night tonight. Anderson was so huge in that first quarter, but after San Rafael started doubling him, it's been frustrating for him. And O'Neal got going briefly, but that bizarre steal that he got, and then he missed the lay-in after turning around, which could be the difference. It felt like he's been a little lost since then, and Davis has been cold, Alice has been off, and It's been where do you turn for offense. So Coach Bears has discussed the game plan. They know exactly what they're doing here. If he makes the free throw, if he misses, either way the Trojans still have a shot as they trail by 1. It is a 1-and-1. It's off the mark. Now I would think you call timeout, and it is no good. No foul. Gottschall wants a foul call. They're not going to do it. He can't believe it. I actually heard something. I don't know what it was. Coach Bears can't believe it. Gottschall is continuing to talk to the refs here, but that's it. So Trojans did not use a timeout that they had there. Gottschall tried to take the contact. It didn't go, and they are going to fall tonight. The final score, 43-42. This is an absolute heartbreaker for the Trojans here, but they just could not find the offense at the right time, and San Rafael got a little bit going late. We will have interviews coming up next.
And we're back down on court awaiting interviews, waiting Coach Bears and a player to come out, and we will talk with them after this heartbreaking loss. Henry Ellis, the Trojan super fan. It's not today. It's not today. It's on the 28th. My birthday's on the 28th. I think I know my own birthday, Henry. What are your thoughts on this tight game, Henry?
I thought it was a really close game. It just came down to free throws at the end. It wasn't just Brendan's last ones. It was throughout the whole game. We missed a lot of free throws.
Trojans went cold a lot throughout this game, second and fourth quarter. How do they fix those long droughts where they can't put the ball in the ocean?
They just need to have one couple possessions where they just score, and then they just go on a roll, and they just can't be stopped.
Thank you, Henry. Oh, Richie's going to join us as well.
Happy birthday, Griffin.
Thank you, Richie. I appreciate all the support. My birthday's not today. It's on the 28th, but thank you to the Trojan supporters who came out to the game tonight. They're a little bit heartbroken by the tight one. The free throws were big as well, and in the end, it wasn't. They missed free throws all night. And it was a point early. We saw Whitaker Ellis miss some. Gottschall missed some. Everyone was missing free throws for the Trojans. And in a tight game, that's a big difference. And the Trojans have been almost automatic at the line tonight, but they couldn't hit that. And they were so cold. And when they got into the foul trouble, and Gottschall wasn't the answer, and they've relied on Gottschall and Anderson so much, was where do you go? And they had nowhere to go tonight. And that was a big issue, and probably in a long talk and a little bit emotional for everyone here tonight for the Trojans. But I think good for them to get a break after this one. They won 3 straight. They really wanted 4. This would have been a big one for NCS, but in the end, there's more to learn to that. It's huge that you can play such a tight, close game like this, and you really will learn so much. So they are certainly going to hope that they can turn it around, and they're going to get a great experience when they head to the Clovis tournament, and they'll face some really great Division I teams. So that will be a great experience over the break before they then start league play. And it's a good winding into, I think, SCL play for them. LC Allen, El Molino, not the best teams, and I think an SCL that is relatively deep this year, so they certainly can't go to sleep. They almost lost LC Allen last year, but I think the Trojans, they can find their mojo again, certainly can ease in, but tonight we saw if Anderson and Gottschall aren't going, right now there's nowhere else to turn, and that is the significant flaw on this team that could inhibit them from getting that home NCS seed and that SCL berth. Be interesting to say what Coach Bears says about the game tonight, and Trojans look like they might have suffered under a little bit pressure. They haven't played in too many games. They haven't played in any close games at all this year. All games have been by double digits except for the Redwood game, and the Giants were ahead late. That was a tight game with under 4, but there were some pressure moments, and credit to the San Rafael Dogs. There's a reason they have won games. They've already won games in overtime. They played multiple close games, and even though they're a little bit younger, they looked a little bit more experienced tonight. But these are, oh my, we've gone dark. I'm sorry you can't see me. They turned off the lights a little early there. The janitors want people to go. They want to get out of here for the holidays. All right, we will grab interviews as soon as the players are out of the locker room. That's coming up next. With Justin Wolbert after the Trojans' tough, narrow loss tonight. You guys felt like you were in control for most of the game. You just lost in the fourth quarter. What went wrong?
Well, I mean, we didn't get much help from the refs, and I don't know. Like, we weren't hitting a lot of shots, but, you know, we played a good game. We couldn't do much.
What do you learn from it? Was a tight, exciting game at the end. You haven't played a lot of close games lately. What do you take away and learn from a game like this?
This will help us a lot in league with all the high caliber teams like Annalee and Piner, but we just can't dwell on this. We just got to move on.
You're a very aggressive player. You don't always show up in the stat sheet in terms of stats, but you're so important to the team. How do you you don't get the most attention, but knowing your role is so important for the team?
I just play physical and give it my all and try and get everyone better, do what I can.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk with head coach Scott Bears. Obviously, Trojan's pretty disappointed tonight. The calls are controversial. Actually, had a ref talk to me. He wants to see this film, and he might want to watch a lot of it because there were a lot of close calls tonight and a lot of things to talk about. As soon as Coach Bears is out, we will get to talk with him. Here with head coach Scott Bears after the Trojans just fall short, and it's a tough game tonight. What do you take away from it?
That's one you really got to watch film and reflect on. At the end of the game, we did everything right. Our guys did everything right. We put ourselves in a position to come out on top, and unfortunately basketball can be like that sometimes where the ball just don't go through the rim when you need it to. Brendan did a great job of getting to the line, getting some response out of the opposing team, got the technicals, and normally a guy that's pretty consistent from the stripe went 2 of 4, and then Big Jack Anderson made a beautiful post move down low. A shot he connects on more times than not. It just didn't happen to go down. So the opportunities were there, and just weren't able to close it out.
You guys went absolutely ice cold a couple of times tonight. How do you fix that in the future?
I don't know if it's something you fix. It's just getting in the gym, putting up shots, keep putting up game shots. In practice, we try and work on things that we're going to see in the game. So we take shots within our offense, and we've been a pretty consistent shooting team. It's not often Devin Gottschall goes 0 for 5 from 3, and Jack Anderson doesn't connect on one from the perimeter. And we just, it was a bad shooting night. Fortunately, our defense has been able to keep us into games. I think we've only given up more than 50 points one time this year. But, if you're not going to put the points on the board yourself, it's hard to come out on top.
Lastly, you guys head to a pretty good tournament next week. There's going to be some D1 teams out in Clovis. What experience do you hope your team takes out of that?
Our plan is to come back better than when we left. That's why we go out there. We're going out there because we are going to see those high-caliber teams. The game's going to be a little faster. We do see a 7-footer our first game that we play, which will be good. So, we get out there, we play a different style of basketball, and then when we come back to Sonoma County, maybe the game doesn't seem so fast, and we're prepared to take on the SCL full speed ahead.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you to head coach Scott Bears and Justin Wilbert. And this was a tough game tonight. I'm not sure I'd ever seen head coach Scott Bears that aghast at the way that the things went, and just felt like the Trojans were in control. But mentioned 3 throws, they couldn't hit them, and Anderson, he did have a very good look, and it was just a bizarre ending with the technicals and the free throws, and suddenly the drives and the threes by the Dogs. We hadn't seen that all night, but the Trojans were just unable to put them away. They went cold, and a lot of players tonight just had off nights, and they were not able to pick them up against a really good Dogs team. But they'll learn a lot from this game, no doubt, and they'll move on to Clovis before they march into the SCL tournament, and that's going to be the large goal, putting a banner up in the gym, the first time since 1992. Trojan Live will be with you on the journey. Don't forget to tune into their SCL home opener. It will be January 6th. They're going to take on El Molino, 7:30, live on our YouTube channel. Do not miss that. Plus, the girls basketball live stream we will be doing December 29th, so that's coming up any day now whenever you're watching this, and that will be a 6:30 tip as they take on Rancho, the girls basketball team, really improving, so don't miss that. For everyone at Trojan Live, thank you so much for tuning in. Trojans fall tonight, 45-44. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good night.